So my name is Mark Cridge and I'm Chief Executive of mySociety. So mySociety is a not-for-profit organisation that helps people understand who has power and, more importantly, how to influence those with power. So we operate across three practice areas: democracy, better cities and freedom of information. Within each of those practice areas we create online tools and services that allow people to better understand the world and understand the role they can play within it to either enrich their community, get something changed, or just demand better and actually give them the tools and power to make that happen. We've really grown up from a very voluntary-based organisation to a team of about 27 people, all based in the UK. But through the work we do with partners, we actually operate services in about 44 countries around the world. So if you take freedom of information, for instance, we both run freedom of information websites, which make it really easy for citizens to request information that they're entitled to under access to information laws, and to get that back in a timely manner and do all of this in public. At the same time, we're creating complementary services, often through a commercial basis, where we create specific tools like Alive Professional, where we're creating a tool set specifically for journalists, so they can carry out their journalistic work, make better use of freedom of information. Within our Better Cities practice, we operate services like FixMyStreet, which allow anyone, anywhere in the country, to direct their requests about non-emergency issues directly to the right part of local government. We've been running services like that for the last 8 or 9 years, and the thing we found that is incredibly important is the ability to close the loop and actually work with the local governments themselves to make sure we can not only direct the initial query to the right place, but we can help the local government manage that query and actually get the issues resolved and report back on that. So with that in mind, a big part of the work we're active on over the next few months is developing out our FixMyStreet professional services, which provide management tools that local authorities, councils, other public sector bodies can use. So within our democracy services, we have been running websites like theyworkforyou.com for a number of years, and they've very much become a model for a type of parliamentary monitoring work that we have been able to roll out a number of similar sites and services with partners around the world, especially in sub-Saharan Africa actually. Some of our most important and well-used services, like Mzalendo.com or People's Assembly in South Africa, they really allow a citizen to better understand what's actually going on within their parliament, what actual activity MPs are undertaking, and importantly, what these decisions actually mean. So what we try and do with our democracy work is we try and give context and meaning to information which might already be available in public, but is perhaps difficult for lay people to understand without expert knowledge. So that's an incredibly important part of how we approach things to make that information not just more accessible, but more easily shareable. I think one of the biggest changes we're making at mySociety, and it's really been driven by our research agenda, is an understanding that we just simply aren't reaching enough of the people who could really benefit from these type of services. We've really very carefully and critically looked at our own work and the work of our peers within the sector and tried to carefully examine what works and why, and who are we actually reaching. This was really borne out within some of the research we did around FixMyStreet, where we found that the people using FixMyStreet were predominantly older, largely white and mostly male. But what we weren't necessarily doing was reaching underrepresented groups or disadvantaged groups, or people who might not even think that the government might listen to them. And so I think the mission we have over the next couple of years is a recognition that that isn't just going to happen on its own. We need to actively make that happen. We need to make the connections with these groups. We need to work directly in partnership with representative groups who can help us reach these audiences in a deeper fashion. But importantly, we also need to better understand often poorly understood needs of these groups and make sure that we're creating this civic technology with these people and not just creating for. That's a big change, I think, to the way we've worked at mySociety, but it reflects bigger changes within the sector and also bigger changes within society that we've seen over the past few months.